Ever make a whole list of how summer is going to look? Rest, family time, finally finishing that project. But then August arrives and you're wondering, where did June and July go? That's what your reader is thinking too. She knows fall is coming and part of her is ready for it. But another part of her is grieving a summer that didn't quite deliver what she hoped. And she's trying to move forward despite those feelings. Hey, if you're just jumping in, we're in part 2 of our 3-part quarterly series, Get Inside Your Readers' Heads, where we're learning to read the room with our podcast content this quarter. And before we dive in, if you're multitasking right now, I want you to know at the end of the episode, you can go grab the 3rd quarter content planning guide linked in the show notes. It's going to walk you through all 3 months of 3rd quarter's talking points that we talk about on these episodes. Plus, I've also included some prompts if you use AI to assist with your marketing ideas. That way you're not starting from scratch. So today, let's talk about planning ahead for the month of August. Your reader needs motivation for that season ahead, but we can't even start there, right? We want her to feel seen first, and so she needs to hear from us. I know this season was a lot, no matter what her summer looked like, right? Name what she's walking out of before you show her the great news of what's ahead. That's the art of reading the room in August. So let's walk through who is actually in your audience this month using my 3S method. So it's someone who's struggling, someone who is supporting your reader who's struggling, and someone who's showing up for your reader who is struggling. Remember, your podcast audience is never just your target reader, especially when you're guesting on someone else's show. Now, let's start with struggle. This is your target reader, the one living with the exact problem your book solves. What is she carrying in August? She might be stepping into a new season, carrying the weight of a summer that didn't deliver what she hoped. Maybe she didn't rest the way she planned. Maybe the margin never came. Maybe the family time was harder than expected. Whether your listener has a broken or blended family. Your reader might feel a little exhausted, and she's trying to figure out how to start the fall strong when she doesn't feel that way at all. Then there's also the back-to-school emotional load that comes with August, and this one can sneak up even on moms and grandmoms who have done it a dozen times. A child starting kindergarten, a teenager starting high school, a college drop-off. These are identity moments, and your reader might be navigating one of these while also trying to keep everything else in her life running. I remember when my boys were in school, there was always this tension between grief for my son with autism that wouldn't have the same transitions as his peers or his brother, while also celebrating the milestones his brother was crossing. To say August is complicated is an understatement, right, for us all. So think about your reader's feelings in August and how your message can meet her right there in the middle of her struggle and the hope that's just starting to stir at her heart. Now, let's talk about support. This listener isn't carrying the struggle you wrote about today, but she loves someone who is. Her child, a family member, a close friend. That person is your target reader. And your listener is looking for something to either pass along to her or to read herself so she knows how to help them. She might have a child who's anxious about the new school year, and she's trying to help without projecting her own worry. She might have a close friend or family member stepping into a big new chapter, and she wants to be a good encourager, but she doesn't have the words yet. And then they're showing up. This listener isn't carrying the struggle herself either, but she serves people who do. She leads a small group that's starting back up in September. She runs a ministry team that's regrouping after the summer. She's a counselor or a coach or a mentor, and her students and clients are stepping back into hard seasons alongside the new school year. Remember, when you're guesting on someone else's podcast, you have no idea who's listening. You don't know if your target reader is even in the room, but you can almost always guarantee that somebody in that audience loves or serves your target reader. And she's paying attention, hoping you'll give her the right words and the right resources. Hello, your book. So she can support and show up for others well. So that's your August room, right? And when your content speaks to all those listeners, those that are struggling, those that are supporting someone who's struggling, and those who are showing up for somebody who's struggling, then nobody tunes out. And your message gets shared into rooms you'll never even know about. How cool is that? Now, let's talk about how you create content for this for August. Same options as July, and I want you to pick the one that fits where you are right now. Remember, you know your reader best, and these are just ideas. So, first, episode ideas for your own show. When you're serving your own audience, you get to choose if and when you're talking to somebody who struggles with the problem your book solves, or if you're talking to somebody who's supporting or showing up for your reader who struggles. So think about their struggles and how they're appearing in the month of August. How can the message of your book meet her there? If you've already planned your August episodes, how about a timely pop-up bonus episode? Just a short 5 to 8 minute episode can feel like a quick check-in from a friend. It just needs to be real from your heart because that's what our readers are craving right now. And it could be tucked into your episode contents you already have planned, or if you're interviewing people on your show, how can you bring in that timely component to kind of put in there in between so they hear your voice as the host, but they also hear you relating to what they're struggling with now. And as a podcast guest, even if you can't predict the timing of your episode release, you could still add a seasonal angle when you share it with your email list and your social media communities. And when you're recording as a guest, you don't even have to mention the month of August, but you can still meet listeners where they are by weaving in a seasonal observation that we've talked about. So remember, this is where the support and show up listeners really carry your message further, because when you're on somebody else's podcast, you don't know who's listening. So lean into timely feelings that speak to the whole room. You never know when a listener is going to pull out their earbuds and hand them to their girlfriend and say, oh my gosh, you need to hear this. And then lastly, there's the Short Stack podcast as your call to action when you guest. You could create a short standalone podcast if you don't already have a podcast, and you can make it timely around fall and what she needs to hear right where she is. Oh boy, y'all, August is a complicated but motivating month. Your reader is right in the middle of all of it, just like we are. When your content shows up and she feels seen for what she's carrying, and then you point her towards something helpful, she's going to remember you and she's going to come back for more. And you're going to not only help her, but you're also going to give her just what she needs to move closer to buying, reading, and or sharing your book with someone else. So come back next episode for the final one in our series. We're talking about the month of September, the month when your reader is more ready than she's been all third quarter. And I'll show you how to make sure your content is right there waiting for her when she is. Thanks for tuning into Book Marketing Mania. And as always, I'll be there for you next episode to help you reach and serve your readers one podcast at a time. See you then.